Thanks, Goose. We've been having a bit of a retro renaissance of late, especially thanks to crowdfunding. But few games have recreated that retro DNA as accurately as Shovel Knight.
Yes, Shovel Knight really taps into that 8-bit era, and the deeper we dug into this platformer, the more nostalgia we unearthed. Such as the way the game pauses for a moment to scroll the next screen into view. I'd forgotten how old school games did that. It brought so many memories back.
I know what you mean. I half expected the game to have sprite flickering or maybe a password save system.
Yes, I'm glad they left that one in the history books.
As you'd expect from a classic platformer, the realm is being threatened, this time by an evil enchantress. And the only hero for the job is our knight and his trusty shovel. Not sure why he couldn't afford a sword, but a shovel works pretty well.
Yes, he can whack enemies with it, and of course dig up treasure. But the shovel's main use tends to be a sort of pogo stick of death. Not only can the pogo attack kill enemies, but it can also break platforms.
They've baked a lot of secrets into these levels too, haven't they? Often I'd find a secret room by digging into the wall. Or a new path I needed to bounce off an enemy just right in order to reach it. Plus, it's the first platformer I've played where you take a break for a spot of fishing.
For me, this game gets that old school difficulty level just right. The platforms themselves aren't too hard to navigate, but when you're being attacked, it's a lot easier to mess something up. Plus, dying robs you of a big chunk of loot, which you can only reclaim if you make it back to where you died. And I thought that was kind of cool because it's got a bit of a Dark Souls vibe to it.
Yeah, I think personally they could have balanced the checkpoints a little better though. I mean, there was definitely a few occasions where a really hard room was put right at the end of a bunch of easy ones.
Yeah, maybe putting them just after a checkpoint would have been better, but I'm so glad they included all of these tough bits. Like this section where you can flick jelly droplets onto lava to turn it into bounce pads until the jelly melts and then you die. One thing I thought was really good is how you can destroy checkpoints for loot. Of course, you can't return to them then.
Yeah, I thought that was cool as well, a bit of risk-reward in there. You can also upgrade your humble knight quite a bit as well. The levels are littered with gems, which you can trade to shopkeepers for extra health or magical upgrades. The fireball upgrade quickly became my go-to magic attack.
I did get stumped more than once until I realised which upgrade I needed to get past a certain section. It's invulnerability to get over spikes. Got it. So there's a little bit of backtracking, Metroidvania style.
Look, I think this game recreates that retro flavour perfectly, and if this came out in the 80s, I think it would be one of the best platformers of its time, but I can't help but feel like I just wish it added something new to the mix.
I don't know, that's what I like about it. I like how hardcore this game is. It's true to its roots, and it reminded me of just how hard games were back then. We've got it pretty easy nowadays.
Yeah, but I think games were hard back then for a reason. You know, one game would come out and you'd have that game for like 6 months to tide you over. So, you know, making a game that hard would give you bang for your buck. But nowadays we have so many games at our disposal. I think, you know, I just prefer a retro game that adds something new. The Time Travel and Super Time Force is a great example, or Spelunky's randomly generated levels.
Well, if you'd like to play something that ignores the last 30 years of game design, then Shovel Knight is for you. I'm giving it 8.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
It's a 7 from me.
Right, well we should go answer some questions at the Ask Good Game desk.
Let's.